Yo, what's good everybody, and welcome back to another VGC video. Today we're going to be going over some of our games we played in the Players Cup 3 qualifiers, and we're just going to be doing some general game reviewing, seeing what we can do better and showing you what you can do better in your games. If you're wondering how I went in the qualifier, I actually went even, winning up until winners round 3, where I dropped a game there and then lost my losers match as well, which means I just placed outside top 32. I ended up using my GIGANTAMAX Pikachu team that was also a Tornarika team that I've used on the channel before, and if you want to use that team, the paste and the rental code is in the description. Also, if you like this sort of content, I will be doing more analysis videos on my other games from the PC qualifier, so if that at all interests you, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make that red button turn grey. Now let's get into the games. It was good everyone, and we're here right now in winners round 1. I'm going to be facing up against Drew, as we're going to see here. Going to see my beautiful Tornarika team, featuring the Pikachu, Kingdra, Kartana, and Incineroar. So, I'm going to be heading into this game. Now, we'll see the team coming up now. Drew's team is a very interesting team, with a team of Indeedee, Minesshell, Snorlax, Cinderace, Kyogre, and Whimsicott. Now, with the information that I was given preset with the team list, the Snorlax isn't actually Belly Drum Snorlax. I'll pop the info on the screen right now. So it's going to be a G-Max Snorlax, Thick Fat, and Choppleberry. So no fighting type moves into that boy. But it's funny because it's G-Max, but doesn't actually have any stab moves. It only has Ice Punch, Protect, Earthquake, and Darkest Lariat. So it's more of like a sort of just like a spread move Snorlax. Not gonna really be going for belly drums or anything. And we just got a Kyogre, no Water Spout, but with Origin Pulse, Thunder, Blizzard, and Protect, with an Expert Belt. We also got the Focus Sash Minesshell, with Inner Focus, Fake Out, Wide Guard Coaching, and Close Combat. Then we've got the Whimsicott, Prankster, Cobra Berry. The Focus Sash is already taken, so makes sense. With Taunt, Tailwind, Dazzling Gleam, Helping Hand. Got the G-Max Cinderace with the Assault Vest, as well as Bounce, Flare Blitz, High Jump Kick, and Sucker Punch. And then we got the female Indeedee, Psychic Surge, Safety Goggles, Follow Me, Helping Hand, Energy Ball, Expanding Force. Just off the bat, this team has a really poor matchup against my Kartana. And then on top of that, it kind of also struggles against my Kyogre, because it doesn't really have anything to hit it super effective with, except for its own Kyogre with Thunder and the Indeedee with the Energy Ball, but I don't think that it really does. Something else of note to put down is the Cinderace is G-Max, not Dynamax, so it can't reset weather on me with the G-Max G-Max Fireball. I think it's called G-Max Fireball or Max Flare. So yeah, let's hop into the game. So my immediate thought is that they're going to be going for something with the Cinderace as the lead. So something like Cinderace with Coaching Minesshell, or like Whimsicott Cinderace. Maybe something like Indeedee Cinderace as well could be good, because you want to really deter that damage going out into the Cinderace there. But I'm gonna recognize that maybe Kingdra Kyogre is the play, because both of them really bulk out the moves from Cinderace, given that one of them Dynamaxes, and it just puts it in a really bad spot. In the back, I'm going to bring Tornadus, just for some extra speed control, just in case they do bring the Whimsicott. And then Kartana, like I mentioned earlier, is a very good matchup for this team, so I definitely want to be bringing that in the back. I think I was thinking maybe Indeedee plus Aggressive Mon, so like something like Kyogre as well. I've come to realize since then that maybe Kyogre, because they didn't bring Kyogre either game, thinking maybe that they just didn't want to bring Kyogre in a game where I've got Kingdra and Kyogre on the team, plus a Kartana and Pikachu that threatened it so offensively. So that's probably why they didn't bring it. whole bunch, but we'll see about later. So yeah. So we're gonna be leading the Kingdra Kyogre, you know, just put a little bit of defensive pressure just in case it's a Cinderace lead. And then got caught Tornadus in the back for a little bit of speed control, plus Kartana, which is really strong against this team, given that it can take out the Cinderace. Going up against Drew. Man's got a pretty good looking, pretty snazzy looking player card right there. Pretty cool. And we're going to be seeing them lead out with the Mine Shell and the Snorlax. So we know if the Mine Shell is Sash, and we know if the Snorlax is Choppleberry. Which is surprising because I didn't expect Snorlax to be in the lead here. But this is fine. Now my main thing here is that the Mine Shell really does shut down the Kyogre. So I think my turn 1 play is just to Hydro Pump Snorlax and then Dynamax our Kyogre and just target down the Snorlax, get as much damage onto it as possible. Because the Mine Shell's either going to go for a Wide Guard to block a Water Spout or Fake Me Out. And if they do that, it just stops the Kyogre from doing anything. So Dynamaxing is the turn 1 read. I read their option immediately. I'm going to see the Kyogre go real big boy, big fish, big fosh. And then, yeah, I think the only way this play doesn't work is if the Snorlax max guards, but I don't think in a turn where Mine Shell goes for Fake Out, Snorlax goes for max guard. Because it definitely wants to be getting boosts off, so I'm gonna see the Snorlax Dynamax here. I'm gonna see the big boy with the tree belly button. I'm gonna see the Fake Out going into the Kyogre, so I do read that right. I'm gonna Hydro Pump the Snorlax, luckily not missing. Gonna be getting a decent amount of damage, about 20% onto the Snorlax. I don't want to go for the Geyser onto the Snorlax as well. Doing about 60%, taking it down to about 80%. We see the Snorlax going to be going for a Max Quake into the Kingdra. Getting a bit of chip to it, takes it to about 50%. And I'm going to get a special defense boost, which isn't too much of a problem. But I think this turn I switch into Tornadus, because I want to switch in on a Max Quake on that slot. We'll come to find that in hindsight, I probably should have just Hurricaned the Mine Shell slot, because I could have saved my Sash, given that they don't go for a move there, but I really thought that they might just go for another Max Quake to finish up the turn. And also, my play here was to minimize as many boost opportunities for the Snorlax here. Because I also go for the Max Guard with the Kyogre, as we'll see in a moment. Yeah, so we'll see the Max Guard come out with Kyogre. The reason I want to do this is because I want to minimize as many boosts as this Snorlax can get. Sure, I can probably just go for the KO for it on it right now. But I'm not too worried. I think just minimizing as many boosts as possible in this Snorlax is what is necessary. But like I said, in hindsight, I think Kingdra probably could have stayed in it and gone for a Hurricane on the Mine Shell. And then Kyogre could have stayed protected. But again, I was scared of them getting boosts. I could have also just gone for a Hurricane onto Mine Shell and then gone for the Max Geyser onto Snorlax, getting rid of both of them. I think the Mine Shell probably would have gone down to about 50%. I'll do the calculator. But +1 Mine Shell takes a decent amount of damage from the Hurricane from Life Orb Kingdra, so Because I'll come to realize later on that Kingdra isn't really too vital to this matchup. Like, I didn't really need to bring it to this game. But yeah, it would have made my life a little bit easier with the Mind Shell. I wouldn't have to rely on what I go for next turn. Ooh, after Dynamax, rather. But yeah, we're gonna see the Kingdra swap out for Tornadus. Tornadus comes in. Max Guard with the Kyogre, so this is a boost-free turn for that team. But they go for the Max Guard as well, which is really good because it means we can guarantee a Max Geyser into that slot next turn. We're going to be taking about 55% from a close combat from the Mind Shell. And it's losing a special defense boost, so Hurricane should be able to do a lot of damage here. But we're going to just go for the Tailwind and Max Geyser into the Snorlax. Get rid of the Snorlax, you know. I'm going to be faster than the Mind Shell now because of the Tailwind. And it should be happy days. Getting rid of the Snorlax and then the Mind Shell shouldn't be doing much. You're going to see the Tailwind go out, boosting our speed stat. Kyogre goes for the Max Geyser, and this should be KOing the Snorlax, despite being a +1, but just because we did so much damage the previous turn, Max Geyser was almost a guaranteed KO. I mean, the gun's just going to go for a close combat into Kyogre, just doing a little bit under 30%. So Kyogre is not looking too bad right now. I'm gonna bring in the Whimsicott here, actually, which is surprising because you generally see the Whimsicott in lead, but maybe they're thinking about the late game. Late game Tailwind is always pretty good, but because I am faster in the Tailwind, I'm gonna go for the Taunt. I'll be faster in the Prankster +1 speed tier. We're just gonna go for the Scald onto Mind Shell, you know, try to get as much damage onto it as possible. It's at -1 right now. We'll probably bring it down to Sash. Hopefully we can get a little bit of a burn. That would be very helpful. But it's not likely. It is a 70% chance that it doesn't happen, so we'll see how that goes. Of course, I already know what happens, because you guys aren't ready. You don't know. I've played the match already. You've never seen this in your entire life. We're going to see the Taunt go out onto the Whimsicott. Tailwind fails because of the Taunt. I'm going to go for a Scald onto the Mind Shell. And wouldn't you know it, we break the Sash. But then we burn it. Huge, massive, insane. Kyogre built different today. And Kyogre manages to live the close combat after the burn. I'm not sure if it would have stayed alive if I hadn't burnt it, but Mind Shell's gonna die this turn. Get KO'd. And that leaves the Whimsicott plus 2 more Pokemon. What are we gonna see? Oh, plus 1 more Pokemon, and we're gonna see the Cinderace. So it's very likely Cinderace goes for a Sucker Punch onto my Kyogre. So I just double into it with the Tornadus and everything. So as we see, Tornadus is gonna. As we see, Cinderace is just gonna go for a Sucker Punch, KOing the Kyogre. Hurricane is gonna go out into the Cinderace. Does about 50%, even through the Assault Vest. And we do get the Confuse off, but I don't think it really matters that much. I think the game is sealed right there because we have Kartana in the back. Dazzling Gleam does a little bit around 40%. Just keeping it out of range. I think this turn I bring in my Kartana. And because their only option for hitting my Kartana right now is Sucker Punch, because our Tailwind is faster and the Cinderace is unable to protect because of the Assault Vest. It's pretty safe here to just go for a Sacred Sword into the Cinderace and then protect our Tornadus, because that will let us preserve it for next turn, given that Tailwind is ending this turn as well. And there's no way this Cinderace is faster than my Kartana and Tailwind. And there's no way for it to change its type either, and we just get a free Sacred Sword off into that slot. Whimsicott's going to go for a Dazzling Gleam. I'm going to get protected with our Tornadus, and it's not going to really be doing much to our Kartana, because we are Assault Vest, and it's not very effective. And even through the crit, it barely does anything. And it looks like now we'll just be able to quickly wrap the rest of this game up. Smart Strike should pick up the KO. If it doesn't, we'll have the Hurricane there just to make sure. And that's game 1 in the books. It's going to be picking up the first win of the tournament. We're going to be heading into our game 2 here. So we're going to make a little bit of adjustments. So what like I mentioned earlier, the Kingdra, not really necessary in this matchup, but I think the speed control turn 1 is 100% necessary. So we're going to be leading the Tornadus Kyogre in the front here instead of the Kingdra. As you can probably see that I'm going up and down thinking about it. Yeah, I'll realize that Kingdra isn't really too great, and then we'll bring the Tornadus Kyogre. And then in the back, I choose to bring Incineroar and Kartana. As I mentioned earlier, Kartana is a very good Pokemon for this matchup, and the Incineroar is just really good in general for intimidating their physical attackers on the other side of the field. So I bring Incin because I realize that Snorlax is more likely to be on the lead here, and then I can deal with the Cinderace later in the back. Also it's good for like fake out support. They didn't bring the Indeedee last game, which is not what I expected, but it's good because it means that I might be able to use Incineroar's fake out in good ways. Intimidate's super value there, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, we're gonna see the lead of Indeedee Snorlax there. So I wasn't expecting the Indeedee to come this game, but it turns out it does come this game. But you'll see, as you'll see here, we've got Kyogre Tornadus in the lead, but we really don't need to bring the Tornadus here. I'm already faster than both these Pokemon with my Tornadus, so I'm thinking maybe I switch out into Incineroar. That way I can put pressure into the Snorlax. We'll intimidate the Snorlax, we'll put pressure into the Indeedee, and also we can switch in on any ice attacks that might be going into that slot, because as you saw before, this Snorlax actually has Ice Punch. So a Hailstorm could be going into that slot, and then an Intimidate on top of that won't really do much damage to the Incineroar. We're going to be going for the Water Spout with Kyogre, just to get a bit of damage on these Pokemon. Indeedee nearly goes down, I think. Does a lot of damage to the Indeedee, but I'm not sure about the Snorlax, especially Dynamax. So we'll see. Also, I brought in Incineroar, mostly because I doubted that they would go for a Max Quake into that slot. If anything, they're going to Max Quake into the Kyogre slot. I'm going to see the Expanding Force coming out of Indeedee. Kind of weird, because I kind of expected to follow me, but it makes sense considering I'm a Kyogre with Water Spout. And we're just going to see the Hailstorm going into the Incineroar. Not really doing much damage. Not really doing anything this turn with their Pokemon. But it's good because the Kyogre don't really get damaged that much. Incineroar going to take a little bit, and the rain's going to be reset to Hail. Everyone's going to take a little bit of chip damage this turn, except for the Indeedee because it has safety goggles. But we're just going to Parting Shot into the Snorlax, because I do believe I'm faster, and I'm just going to go for another Water Spout. So get a KO onto the Indeedee and get Snorlax to -2. And then we can just do a little bit more chip damage. Make things a little bit easier on ourselves. Another reason why I want a Parting Shot out is because I want to switch into Tornadus, because it's likely that they go for a Quake into the Incineroar, which is scary, to say the least. We also don't want it getting boosts off, although it could be targeting the Kyogre. It doesn't seem to be interested in the Kyogre at the moment. So we're going to get the Water Spout off into the Indeedee. Indeedee's going to faint, gonna get a helping hand into the Snorlax, however, before that. And we are faster with our Incineroar. We're gonna get a parting shot off. I'm gonna switch in to our boy, our main man, Tornadus. Because I'm thinking maybe that they bring in like Cinderace next, or something like Whimsicott could be annoying. But they're actually gonna read the switch, and Tornadus is going to get big Hailstormed here, just out of range of Hail to KO here, but it doesn't really put our Tornadus in the greatest spot, especially with whatever's in the back here. I can't really go for attacks because of Sucker Punch on Cinderace, and Tailwind is also kind of tough if they bring in Whimsicott. So it'll be a bit of a tough turn here. It is the last turn of Dynamax for Snorlax this turn, so we can probably just play pretty safe. I think here I go for the switch from Tornadus into Incineroar. Mainly it's because I want to get another -2 off. Also, I want to be able to put pressure on the field. Fake out, little do I know that Psychic Terrain is still on the board, so I can't really fake out that Whimsicott. So we're gonna see me like hesitate. You know, should I switch in Incineroar here? What if it's not really gonna do much if they Tailwind this turn? I'm just gonna max guard with our Kyogre. No extra boosts. No nothing. I think it's unlikely they go for a Quake into the Incineroar slot. So we're just gonna get hella free Intimidates and stuff onto the Snorlax. Kyogre is gonna be going big. Big Fosh appears once again, and gonna get a lot of health from that. We're about half at the moment, and then max guarding. But as we see here, the Snorlax also goes for the max guard, which is kinda cool for us because it means that they definitely didn't go for an attack here. We're gonna take a little bit of damage from the Dazzling Gleam onto the Incineroar, but it's neutral damage, and Whimsicott isn't known for being a super high special attacker, so good stuff here with our Incineroar. Snorlax is gonna power down from its Dynamax, and I'm gonna make the 0 IQ play of going for Fake Out in Psychic Terrain. I'm very good at this video game. As you see there, I actually go for Flare Blitz first, and then I just question myself, and I'm like, nah, I Fake Out here, Psychic Terrain. And then I just go for a Max Geyser on Snorlax. I just want to pick up the KO. I wanted to stop the Whimsicott from going for Tailwind. Obviously, that was a pretty shite plan because of the Psychic Terrain. It's so much harder to recognize the Psychic Terrain in this gen just because of how minuscule Psychic Terrain shows on the screen. I liked it in Gen 7 when it covered the entire screen, which is always fun. We're going to pick up the KO onto Snorlax with the Max Geyser, and Incineroar is kind of wasting its turn there. You could almost say it was a bit of a flex, but now we're going to be heading into big brain 50-50s. So here is the problem. Cinderace is likely to KO my Kyogre. So Kyogre is very much the biggest threat to their team at the moment. Cinderace, sure, may be Assault Vest, but Kyogre hits super hard. Likely to KO the Cinderace with a Max Geyser. And they do have Tailwind up, so that kind of sucks for us. So it's likely that this Cinderace goes for its strongest move into the Kyogre to try getting rid of it with a Helping Hand from the Whimsicott. Because the Whimsicott's most likely just going to go for a Helping Hand, right? It's going to do more damage than a Dazzling Gleam plus a High Jump Kick, which is their strongest move. I'm not sure if that KOs. I think it might, just because Kyogre's physical defense isn't overly too good. It's base 90, but that's, for an Uber, that's a bit little. So I think best case scenario for us is they go for that. So what do we do to counter that? What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for a parting shot into the Cinderace. Just to get that little bit of a stat drop, and we're gonna go for a max guard. Best case scenario, they go for helping hand high jump kick into the Kyogre slot. Worst case scenario, they go into the Incineroar, and it means it's a lot harder for me to actually win this game because I lose Dynamax this turn, and then Sucker Punch. How we get Sucker Punch should just be able to KO. So Kyogre protects itself from the high jump kick, and it will be the best case scenario. They'll lose half their health to the falling of high jump kick. They missed, and they're gonna take half damage, and then the Incineroar is gonna get the parting shot off, and then it's gonna be GG's from there, I think. Because all I have to do is switch in my Incineroar here, and they're at -2 and they're not doing any damage. They might be able to helping hand, but it's still very minuscule damage. I don't even think a Sucker Punch KOs my Kyogre here. I think a high jump kick might, but yeah. So we're gonna switch out our Kartana for the Incineroar just to get off another Intimidate. It also allows us to get fake out pressure, more stat drops. It's also to bait out a Flare Blitz onto the Kartana slot, but it's likely that they just go for another high jump kick because of the rain. Plus, they probably don't want to take any more recoil than they have to. As we see, we're gonna go for the Helping Hand here. Intimidate already gone out into the Cinderace, but Helping Hand high jump kick is just enough to KO the Incineroar. Just based off that alone, I don't think that a Helping Hand high jump kick KOs the D-Max Kyogre. But we're gonna KO it with Scald. And that's just gonna wrap up the game for us. Kartana endgame again. I'm gonna have the Kartana and the Kyogre on the field, both at the same time. And we're just gonna go for the Smart Strike onto the Whimsicott, and that should be that. GG's to my opponent. It was a pretty fun set for me, at least. I got to get the gears grinding when it came to thinking about how I play my Pokemon. Which is something that I haven't actually done in a very long while, just because of all that current world events and the current not Pokemon events existing. But man, I can't wait till live events come back. Yeah, that's gonna be the game. Thank you all for watching. A lot of fun. I tried recording this video at 4 AM when I was like super tired, and then ended up going to bed, getting 2 hours of sleep, and then coming back up and doing the video again. So I hope my commentary hasn't been too zero brain, zero IQ. I did spend like a few hours just like going over the game, making like a document for bot analysis. Wrote down all my thoughts and feelings about the game. But yeah. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Have yourself a fucking good one. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.